NBC can send one letter and remove 50,000 videos, but your kid's out of luck. That's weird to me. So I think I'm not there yet. I'm directionally there, but I think this is the kind of audience that will get us there, in my opinion.
Michael, I searched myself this morning.
Oh, good.
31,300 Jules Ponetsky. They're probably all me. I didn't like some of them. What would Reputation Defender do to help you shut down those barriers?
Are you giving me a chance to plug my company?
I'm curious.
I like giving that presentation even more than I like giving this one, but I thought, okay. Yes, well, what a great question, Jules. There are a few things that you can do for the low price of... okay, so you're not happy with your search results. What do you do?
I told Brendan and asked whether Bing would take it out, but he'd say that wouldn't be fair.
He might say that. He might say that. My company offers two technologies, two services that would solve the problem you described. The problem you described, for everybody's benefit, was I searched myself and I didn't like what I saw at the top, or I didn't think that the top results about me were as attractive as they should be, or as recent, or as meaningful as they should be. And after all, Google and Bing are machines. They are machines designed by people, so they are subject to flaw. There is a misconception that Google is the truth or is equivalent to the First Amendment. It's not. It's just a machine. It's an awesome machine, but it's just a machine. So what do you do about that? So my company does two things in those cases. One, in some cases, we can actually effect the removal of content you find unwelcome. We would not try to remove content reported in the news or any government record. But if it's a photo that you no longer have access to, or a discussion forum you participated in an earlier time, and you want to get out of it, we could often actually get that content just taken off the web for you. And if that doesn't happen, or if that's too direct an attack, what we can do is overwhelm that content with other content that you prefer to have on the top of Google, whether it already exists or whether you have us publish for example, your bio, your resume to the web in such a way that actually shows up at the top of Google. So it's a very frequent approach for us. We do that for people and companies. I want to clarify something. I just used the word attack, and I did not mean to apply a denial of service attack or other black hat or gray hat technique. My company does not do that. We're on the record very publicly as a very white hat company. I was using the word attack colloquially, and I disassociate myself from the word attack. Okay, this is Washington after all. Okay, yes, sir.
In the research, we saw, I think, one consequence of people's online reputation. I'm just wondering, with the customers you have, you've got other anecdotes of how people might have had some real-world consequences based on what was found online about them.
Great, thank you for that. So the question is, are there other examples that you've seen in your work, Michael, of people who have suffered consequences, real-world consequences of their online reputation, good or bad? The answer is yes. We see it every day. We see it across countries and cultures. And one thing that we've noticed is, backing up. The study was very, very instructive. Our number 2 market happens to be Germany. We've had a lot of organic growth in Germany. We have a little office in Germany now, which we put there in response to the organic growth in Germany. Germans are very concerned about privacy. We have not succeeded in France. Who cares? We have not succeeded in France. But the French, we had a website in French, and they just didn't sign up. So what do you do? This is confirmed by the study. Now I know why. It was not just prejudice. But there's a very strong concern of different kinds in the U.S. and in different markets. And actually what we've seen in the U.S., anecdotally anyway, is that every culture cares, at least nominally, conceptually, about reputation and privacy more than America does. Whether that has yet translated to online reputation and privacy is a different question. Okay, specific examples. We've heard stories of young people especially going into job interviews and being asked by the interviewer to open up their Facebook page there in the interview. That's a trip, huh? And we have heard stories of every kind. I can't get a date. I can't leave my house because I feel like I'm being stalked. People come up to me at the PTA meeting and know a lot about my kids because their kids or they are friended somehow with my kids. Another one that's very surprising, the biggest surprise to me about kids in particular, since starting the company, has been how often kids are talking about their parents on the internet. Mom did not get the raise. Dad got fired. Mom and dad are fighting a lot, and I'm worried they're going to get a divorce. Now, when you're 12 or 10 or whatever, or I guess 10 is too young, 12 or 14, you may or may not be right in your perception. Dad was drunk last night. Maybe he had 2 drinks instead of his usual 0. But the idea is your perception is something you might share. You might have shared in our generations on the phone. Now is being shared in a public place. It's now in the village. Now all of a sudden you're getting divorced and you're getting looks when you go to the supermarket. It's very, very startling information to see. But every life transaction, every date, every romantic thing, every professional thing, every personal thing, every divorce, every application for school, this is a huge one, applications for colleges, applications for graduate schools, everything we do is now colored by our online lives. It's a fact, it's true, it's coming more, we all know that. But the consequences range from the kind of fun and silly to the very, very, very terribly dire, including people getting very, very scared and threatened about their lives. And that's what we protect them. Anything else? Yes, sir. You had the great question about rights, along with this lady over here. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just detecting a conflict. At the Joint Center, we represent mostly low-income and African American communities.
Oh.
So I'm asking you if a market-based solution creates a digital divide where some people can afford to pay for it and others can't.
That's a great question. Anytime you do something that's not free, some people are going to be able to afford it and some people not. So our stuff starts at $10 a month. It's our cheapest solution. And we do a bunch of pro bono offerings for a lot of different people. But we're trying to make it affordable. $10 a month, our original pricing scheme was intended to be comparable to a credit score check. So you can get a credit score for between $8 and $14 per month from one of those services. So yeah, I think it's fair. Also, there's even a more basic concept, which is a lot of people in America don't have access to credit cards, right? And we take credit cards or debit cards on our website. So it's a totally fair question. I don't think I have a great answer to it yet. Anyone else? You just want dessert? Yeah.
Search engines consider this. I mean, they want the most relevant results showing up.
Yeah.
Are you creating results that are more relevant? I mean, there are a lot of businesses that want to come up top, and so they create all kinds of sites linked to them. And
You're talking about SEO.
So, are you doing just SEO that the search engines will beat eventually? Are you just one step ahead of them?
It's a great question. So how do the search engines feel about what a company like mine does, and will they figure it out and be able to overcome it? So we play by the search engines' rules, first of all. We believe that the search engines do not reveal completely what their rules are, and we have a lot of R&D, like a lot of just math around trying to figure out the parts of the rules they do not publish. And I think we're very good at it. I also have reason to believe that very, very senior people at the search engine companies are very aware of what we do and that some of them use our services. I also have reason to believe that some of the people who are senior enough at those companies refer their friends or family members to our services, and even that the general counsel's office sometimes refers people to our services. So that should indicate that they at least think that there's something to what we do. Now, in terms of can they figure it out? Well, to be sure, the search engines are always adapting and changing, and nothing that we've done, I think, is something that has been yet really upset in the last 3 years by what the search engines have done in terms of adaptation. It might happen. Now, in terms of search engine optimization, search engine optimization, we all know about, is the business of trying to get your website, say if you sell real estate in Denver, to the number one search result for Denver real estate, because you want to get all those leads for people who are looking for real estate in Denver. Search engine optimization has a solid 30 to 40% overlap with what the technology I'm describing does at my company. I would say that there's no better than a 30 to 40% overlap, that we're way ahead of the curve, in my opinion. But the market will tell us if that's true. So far, so good. Yes?